5-minute interview with, and with me today is
Katie Tupling, thank you.
welcome Katie.
Hello Tamsin.
Katie and I have known each other a few years now,
Too
so
long.
this interview might be a little bit more raucous than some of the others, but hopefully will still remain 5 minutes.
It'll be random.
So Katie, tell me about your life.
What all of it?
No. So where are you from?
Originally Scarborough, via Teesside, Wales, Bristol, Birmingham, Oxford, Vicar Factory, good place, under Alison McGrath, fantastic. Curacy in Belperch outside Derby, and at the time of filming, vicar, priest in charge of 3 Dibleys, in essence, Hathersage, Bamford and Grindleford. I adore them all.
But very like Dibley. Have you ever watched Jam in Jerusalem?
I've tried to avoid it.
Because when my husband was in Rural Vicar, we watched it, and we watched 2 episodes, and then we decided we couldn't watch it anymore.
I would weep. I saw a trailer and I wept. And that was enough.
And so how long have you been ordained?
I have no idea. It's something like 9.5 years currently. So 4-year curacy and 5.5 years in my incumbency.
And what have been some of the highlights?
Cups of tea with little old ladies possibly may not appear in that list. The highlights were learning how my training incumbent was a vicar, which was fascinating to watch him, and then getting to my incumbency and going, oh, I have no idea what I'm doing. How exciting. That was a highlight. I jest. Highlights, things like, when you've got a dog collar on, you can go to a school and say, hello, I'm your local vicar, I do assemblies, and they look at you and go, oh, fantastic, and they get you doing RE, and they get you doing all that kind of thing. So it's being able to be involved in schools without having to explain yourself. Dog collar, hello, in I come. It's being part of people's lives when they most need someone to be solid, not to give any answers. So baptisms, here's my child, can I have them baptised? Yes, do you know what that means? Not a clue. Okay, well I understand it, so that'll do for both of us. And they come to church with all their friends who have no idea what church is about, and they go at the end of the service going, I enjoyed that. And you think, tick, okay, that's good. They've enjoyed church. My work here is done, if nothing else. Weddings, when they say, I want to get married in church because it's lovely, isn't it? You say, it is. Do you have anything more than that about wanting to get married in church? There's something about a church. Okay, that'll do. That explains it. That's fine. I can deal with the rest. And of course, funerals. The dog collar means that you're the person people ring when someone dies, which is both terrifying but brilliant too, because you get to go into their homes by invitation and just sit with them and work out what life meant and what it means now, and listen to them coming up with the answers if there are any. It's such a privilege.
And what's changed in your life, kind of?
Time frame, particularly?
Yeah, the last few years.
Born.
What's been the biggest change?
Having my son.
I thought that might be the answer.
The adorable Samuel Noah Tupling, who calls himself Sambu because he can't say Samuel, and he's just brilliant. I didn't think I'd ever become a mum, and it only really became something I wanted to do in the last few years. It wasn't happening. And then he came along, my little Samuel, and he's just adorable. And Chris, my husband, and I, we just think he's brilliant. We are a bit biased, to be fair. But Samuel is just great, and he lights up other people, even the grumpy ones at church, and there are just 2. And Samuel walks in and they light up around him, and it's just great seeing them transformed by his little nature. And he's just great anyway, and he's quite good at climbing.
Okay, that's enough now.
Could go on for hours about Samuel.
So as a result of having Samuel, you set up something called Clergy Mummies.
Clergy mummies, clergy being a very strict shorthand for a much wider brief, which is that if you are somebody in authorised church leadership, with or without a dog collar, but your church recognises your authority and your position in that church, and you are also a parent in some way, they're either still at home or they've flown the nest, but you still feel that blend of trying to balance the ministry and the motherhood, then Clergy Mummies is for you. It's a Facebook group. Find me, Katie Tupling, the one and only. Get yourself invited to that group and come and join in. And it's really a place for discussion, for chat, for help, for going on a Facebook page and people going, oh mate, we can look after you. And it's good for resource sharing and just ideas. And it's great. Clergy Mummies.
So, tell me,
cheesy.
if you were going to give people one piece of advice about if they were thinking about going into ordained ministry, what would it be?
It's going to sound obvious, but you have to be sure that it's God's idea. It could be a good idea that God says, I will bless it, but let's just get the discernment process to show you whether it is me or not. It could be God's idea that you think sucks, and you think, I'm never going to do that. He will find you in the end. But you have to be sure this has come from God. And actually, the discernment process helps that, but there will be that still small voice inside you that you know is God, that's either deeply uncomfortable to know it's him, or such a reassurance. This has to come from God. Everybody else saying, oh, you make a great vicar is one thing. God saying, I've called you into it is quite another.
And then finally, what's your favourite film?
Oh, that's a hard one to throw at me at the end of all this. E.T. made me cry age 7, so it can't be that. I think it's got to be a Bond film, but not Roger Moore, and not that stupid one that Madonna was in, because that just drives me potty. So I think something Bond would be quite good. I like the Bourne films too. Nothing mushy.
Nothing mushy.
Well, I did like Bridget Jones's Diary. Made me laugh.
Yeah, but that's not really mushy, it's just silly.
It's just annoying. And Hugh Grant's a little bit irritating.
Well, Katie, thank you very much.
You're more than welcome.
Wonderful.